So, hello everybody, my name is Oleksandra Palchevska. I am from Lviv State University of Life Safety, and I'm eager to present you the result of the study, Corpus-driven approach to Ukrainian e-anecdote study. My courses are Professor Alla Luchyk, National University of Kyiv-Mohyla Academy, Oksana Taran, Lviv National Polytechnik University, Natalia Sharmanova, and Ganna Demydenko, Kryvyi State Pedagogical University. Let's start our presentation. Despite the fact that since the appearance of the term anecdote, many works have been written on this topic. The anecdote, so they presented anecdotes as a genre and considered its linguistic features in different languages, but the study of the topic still continues. Ukrainian language studies are not rich in such research. Ukrainian anecdotes are considered from the linguistic, folklore, literary studies, ethnopsychology point of view. For example, we can look at the works of Irina Kimakovich, Roman Kirchevna, Mila Holovetska, and others. The internet anecdote or e-anecdote in our terms as a genre becomes more actual during the last decade. However, the studies of the kind on the Ukrainian language material do not exist. So the purpose of our research is to create a corpus of e-anecdotes and to show the corpus capabilities in the study as well as the structural and linguistic features of Ukrainian e-anecdotes through their quantitative parameters prism. This corpus-driven approach is used in the study, which is aimed to interpret corpus data as a whole. We have analyzed all the open corpora developed for the Ukrainian language, but none of them contains the anecdote subcorpus, and accordingly, there are no anecdotes corpus-based studies. And this fact emphasizes the urgency of this work. To perform the objectives of this study, we are going to analyze the free lexicons, POS taggers, and passing tools developed for the Ukrainian language or another Slavic inflectional language useful for our work. In reality, there exist only a few resources for studying the Ukrainian language. The most suitable for our tasks is Sketch Engine. It is a commercial corpus management and corpus curator software with user-friendly interface. It has no POS tagging for Ukrainian, but can perform parsing. Collection of Ukrainian e-anecdotes is composed of 500 texts by random sampling from various Ukrainian language sites. All texts were normalized. For example, the different codes used in a set of verbs is detected. Also, were corrected the typing errors. Further corpus exploitation is done with the Sketch Engine tools. Our corpus statistics is given on the slide. So now I want to present the exploitation of corpus and result of our study. The word list options allows you to find the most frequent tokens in anecdotes, and further lemmatization will allow you to identify lemmas. On this slide, you can see the frequency list that shows the high frequency of personal pronouns different forms. This is in line with the dialogue format. Passing allows to determine the sentence's quantitative parameters by intonation. Table that connects sentences quantitative parameters according to intonation design. Pseudo sentences consist only of only punctuation marks and ellipses or several exclamation marks and do not contain verbal components. As you can see, half of the sentences in the corpus are internationally and emotionally colored. Determination of rare or unusual words in the e-anecdotes corpus. Sketch ending comprises only one Ukrainian corpus. It is Ukrainian Web 2014, amounting to 1,388,494,43 tokens. So it can reflect the general language trends. It was chosen as a reference corpus. The anecdotes corpus is a focus corpus. If a word with frequency 1 in focus corpus has frequency 0 in the reference corpus, it is considered as rare or unusual word. In order to perform this task, advanced settings were used. So let's see our result. As a result, 997 tokens, 5%, were detected. So they are surgicism, dialectisms, slang vocabulary, graphically unstable neologisms, the accusative case forms, Ukrainian graphic forms of Russian words, specific exclamations, the reproduction of emphases, the reproduction of the character speech in a state of altered consciousness, the reproduction of the character's distorted articulation, for example, children's speech, or a stuffed mouse, or misarticulation due to some physical condition, the reproduction of Ukrainian words pronunciation by a Russian-speaking character, and barbarisms. Thus, the anecdote as a conventional genre reflects the full oral, non-formal speech-linguistic means range. The next option and stage of our study are keywords in the corpus. With the same tool, but on the different criteria, words which are very frequent in the focus corpus were determined. What allows to compare with the frequency in the referent corpus? In such case, it is relevant to compare the frequency per million. Comparison of the sorting by frequency results in the focus corpus and separately in the reference corpus revealed that in the reference corpus, the first 18 positions are occupied by prepositions and conjunctions, and in the focus corpus by prepositions, conjunctions, personal pronouns, and exclamations. Thus, the anecdote as a conventional genre is characterized by a high frequency of expressive means and personal pronouns, the use of which creates the narrator eyewitness effect for the events depicted in the anecdote. So, in the obtained results, all nouns and verbs with a frequency of 10 were marked with the help of MX Excel tools, semantically close, for example, a запитує, питає, were lemmatized and combined. Table and this slide represent the most frequent nouns and verbs list. The anecdote is of an exclusively and anthropocentric direction. Ukrainian anecdotes are thematically diverse. Anecdotes about the family, friends, and godparents, neighbors, school and university, professions. About Vovочка, they became especially relevant due to an allusion to the leader of the Russian Federation. Personalized animals, gender roles, different ethnic groups. The most frequent keywords indicate the anecdotes about family and gender predominance in the corpus. So, concordance and collocations. The use of the concordance for the most frequent keywords made it possible to identify some linguistic features. For example, the predominance of the accusative case for the token cum. Accordingly, it appears in the speech of the characters. For each concordance, we verified collocations with such criteria as range from 7 to 7, custom range, minimum frequency in the corpus is 1, minimum frequency in a given range is 3. It allows to reveal paired characters, for example, дружина, чоловік, mama, tata, etc. Since these tokens have the highest log dice and a statistic score for identifying collocations. For example, this slide shows the collocations such results for the lexeme чоловік. Collocation with ethnonyms and ethnic stereotype markers. Victoria Samokhina distinguishes between two types of ethnic jokes or ethnic anecdotes. That of the first type describe one ethnic group, of the second several. The latter often depicts other ethnic groups on the negative side. In addition, the factor whether a person characterizes himself or herself, autostereotype, or another ethnic group or ethnic groups, heterostereotype, should be considered. The ethnonym Ukrainian or Ukrainets was found among the frequency keywords. This indicates the predominance in the corpus of anecdotes with the autostereotype, however, perhaps in contact to other ethnic groups. In order to find out with which ethnic characters Ukrainians most often correlate in anecdotes, we have used the typical score. It shows how strong the collocation is. Simple search in concordance allows to find in anecdotes the following ethnic characters which are compared with Ukrainians: Грузин, Китаєць, Японець. Anecdotes about the ethnic group present the following ethnic characters: Американець, Єврей, Москаль. So, and now conclusions of our work. So the created Ukrainian e-anecdotes corpus contains 500 anecdotes. Body volume is 18,582 tokens. Passing is done by sentences. Corpus-driven approach with sketch engine tools allowed to identify the following linguistic and general characteristics of the anecdote within the corpus. So, various forms of personal pronouns, high frequency due to the anecdote's dialogic form. In terms of intonation, About 50% of sentences are intonations and or emotionally colored. Anecdote as a conventional genre reflects the full range of oral non-formal speech linguistic means. Keywords in the corpus testify an anthropocentric direction of the anecdotes, and the most frequent keywords indicate the family and gender anecdote predominance in the corpus. Analysis of collocation by log dice of keywords reveals some features. The predominance of the accusative case for the lexeme cum, paired characters, for example, wife, mom, дружина, чоловік, mama, tato, collocations of the ethnonym Ukrainian in the e-anecdotes corpus, Ukrainets, correlates with the word German Nimitz. So as GRAC is the largest in volume and functionality corpus and gives the possibility to create your own subcorpus of selected text, it was chosen to download the created Ukrainian e-anecdotes corpus for future research. So see GRAC 11. This is the practical significance of this work on creating the e-anecdotes corpus. As the GRAC corpus has a semantic meta markup that gives the possibility for proper name search, the onym space of Ukrainian e-anecdotes can be explored in the future. So, thank you for attention.